Have you ever stopped to think about what happens to all the little digital breadcrumbs you leave behind every single day? Well, it turns out they fuel a massive multi-billion-dollar industry that operates almost completely in the shadows, an industry that collects, analyzes, and sells your personal information. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this hidden world, and we'll be using a landmark 2014 report from the Federal Trade Commission as our guide.
Just think about it for a second. That coupon you scanned at the grocery store, that magazine you subscribed to, even public records like when you bought your house. Every one of those actions is a data point. And while you think you're just interacting with a store or a government office, that information is often just starting a long journey into a really complex, unseen economy.
So who are the players in this hidden economy? We're about to dive into what the FTC itself calls the invisible industry.
Okay, so here's the official definition, straight from that FTC report. A data broker is a company that collects your personal info and then resells or shares it. And that last part, that's the kicker, the key to this whole thing, often without consumers ever knowing.
And that's exactly why they're invisible. You know, you interact with the stores, the websites, the social media apps, but data brokers, they're the middlemen, working completely behind the scenes. They don't have storefronts, they're not running flashy Super Bowl ads. Why? Because their product is you, and their customers are other businesses. All right, so that leads to the obvious question. If they aren't getting this data directly from us, where in the world is this mountain of information coming from? Let's trace the supply chain.
The FTC report really breaks it down into three main buckets. First step, you've got government sources. We're talking property records, professional licenses, even voter registration files. Second, there are publicly available sources. Think anything you post on social media that isn't locked down tight. And third, commercial sources. And this one is the big one. It's the digital trail of our lives. Every single purchase you make with a loyalty card, every warranty you fill out, every magazine you subscribe to. Now, what's so fascinating is that this isn't a simple straight line. It's a web. See, a data broker will buy up information from thousands of different places. But then they turn around and sell that big bundle of data to other data brokers, who then mix it in with their data and then sell it all over again. It just creates these endless layers of transactions.
And get this, in the FTC's study, they looked at 9 major data brokers, and they found that 7 of them were selling data to each other. It creates this tangled mess that makes it pretty much impossible for you, the consumer, to ever trace back where a piece of your own information even came from in the first place.
So we know where the data comes from and we know how it moves around. But what does the final product actually look like? What exactly is in these digital profiles that are being bought and sold every day?
Well, the brokers really deal in 2 types of data. Over on the left, you've got actual data. These are the raw facts: your name, your age, the fact that you own a home. Simple stuff. But where the real power is, and frankly where the real money is over on the right, in derived data. This is where they move from facts to inferences to guesses about you. So you bought a fishing license? Bam, you get flagged with an interest in boating. You subscribe to Wired magazine? Well, now you have a technology interest.
And these categories can get incredibly specific and honestly pretty sensitive. Just look at some of these real examples the FTC found. Categories like financially challenged or diabetes interest. They even create these weird lifestyle segments with names like Rural Everlasting, which is for older singles with low net worth, or Urban Scramble for low-income minority groups. I mean, the big takeaway here is that you are being sorted and labeled, often based on really sensitive personal details in ways you've probably never even imagined.
And if you want to understand the sheer scale of this, just look at this number, 3,000. One of the brokers in the study had created 3,000 different data segments for nearly every single consumer in the United States. That's thousands of labels attached to your name in some database you've never seen.
So you're probably wondering, okay, so what? Why does this matter? Is this whole industry helpful or is it harmful? Well, the FTC report actually lays out both sides of the coin.
On the one hand, there are some real benefits. I mean, this data is used for things like fraud prevention and verifying your identity, which actually protects you. It can lead to more relevant ads, and it really does help small businesses find customers they might never reach otherwise. But on the flip side, the risks are huge. An error in your profile could get you denied for a loan or an apartment, and you'd never even know why. There's a serious potential for discrimination based on those sensitive categories we just saw. And of course, storing all this data forever is just a massive security risk waiting to happen.
The report gives this perfect example. Let's say a motorcycle dealer uses the biker enthusiasts category to send you a coupon.
Okay, seems harmless enough. But what happens when an insurance company buys that exact same list and uses it to infer that you engage in risky behavior? Suddenly, it could affect your rates. The same piece of data can be used in wildly different ways. And this really gets to the heart of the problem for us. If a broker incorrectly slaps a label on you like financially challenged, you have no way of knowing it's there and absolutely no way to fix it. The entire process is a total black box, with zero transparency and zero accountability.
So this total lack of visibility is what led the Federal Trade Commission to its primary conclusion and really a series of powerful recommendations for how to fix this.
When the FTC wrapped up its whole investigation, it came to one very clear conclusion. There is a fundamental lack of transparency in this industry. It means that right now, all of us are completely in the dark about who has our data, what that data even says about us, and how it's being used to make decisions that affect our actual lives.
Because of that, they called on Congress to act. And their key recommendations were pretty straightforward. First, create a centralized website, like a portal, where you can go and see which brokers even have a file on you. Second, give consumers the right to actually see their data and correct any mistakes. Third, force the brokers to tell you where they got the information in the first place. And finally, require the companies you actually deal with, the stores, the websites, to tell you when they're selling your data to these middlemen.
So the FTC report paints a really clear picture. Right now, you're being categorized as a Baker enthusiast or financially challenged without ever knowing it. And it leaves us with a pretty fundamental question. When it comes to your digital identity, who should have the final say? A hidden industry you've never met, or you?